What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be walking you through a day at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Florida. The way I'm going to structure this video is by walking you through our day at both theme parks. I'll go over the best attractions that each have to offer, give you some tips on the best way to manage your time to get the most for your money, and tell you the things that we would have done differently if we could do it all over again. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. Okay, so before I jump into covering our day at Universal, I just wanted to explain a few basic pieces of information for anyone who hasn't been there. Universal Theme Parks in Orlando, as of 2022 when this video is being made, has 3 separate theme parks. There's Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Volcano Bay, which is their water theme park. We purchased the one-day 2 parks tickets to see both Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure for the cost of $164 before tax, and that's just for one adult ticket. Or you can purchase a ticket for just Universal Studios or just Islands of Adventure separately, and those tickets are each $109 pre-tax. As far as the one-day ticket options go, they also include a ticket for just Volcano Bay for $80 pre-tax. I'd also like to mention that you can't sub out one of the theme parks in the one-day 2 parks ticket for Volcano Bay. It has to be Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. When buying tickets, I just downloaded the Universal Florida app and purchased them through there. It will save you time so that you don't have to waste it waiting in yet another line just to get your tickets when you could have done it before arriving. The app also includes super helpful features that you'll use throughout the day, like the map of the theme park that makes it super easy to search for your next desired attraction. There's also a section where you can pre-order food at certain food locations, and there's actually quite a few other features as well that I'll mention throughout the video. I can't stress the usefulness of this app enough, just in regards to how it will save you time and keep your day moving more efficiently. It might sound crazy, but it's a big park, and if you want to hit all your stops in one day, then you'll need to manage your time well. Alright, so the park opens at 9 a.m. Unless you're a resort member, then you can enter an hour early at 8 a.m. We made sure to get to the entrance gate by around 8:30 a.m. and after parking and walking in and getting our tickets scanned, we actually made it officially into the park right at 9 a.m. We decided to head over to Universal Studios first because we were really excited to see Diagon Alley. This ended up being what I would say was our first mistake of the day, but I'll explain that a little later. Because we were so early to arrive in Diagon Alley, we had time to look around before deciding to hit our first ride, Escape from Gringotts. This ride definitely tied for my second favorite of the day. It incorporated the 3D experience with the roller coaster experience really well in my opinion. I was super nervous about the 3D mixed with the moving ride, possibly making me nauseous, but I actually tolerated the ride really well and had a bunch of fun. Because we arrived to this ride so early and went through the single rider's line, we only waited 10 minutes for this ride, and because of the ride's design, we were still able to sit together. After this ride, we headed over to the Men in Black Alien Attack, and it was honestly our least favorite ride of the day. It was still pretty fun, but a bit outdated compared to the other rides. It did offer a unique experience, however, of a shooter game being attached to the ride, and it kept track of points so you can gloat later on if you're good at that sort of thing. We then made our way over to E.T. Adventure, and despite being outdated, we enjoyed it more than the Men in Black ride. I suppose if you're not really nostalgic about E.T. or you're really only interested in the thrill rides, this one just probably isn't for you. After that, we decided to check out Transformers the Ride, because it was close and the wait was only 30 minutes. That's another great feature of the app actually. It will tell you how long the wait times on the rides are, and you can even set notifications for certain rides to alert you when the wait time drops to a desired length. Anyways, the Transformers ride was the first ride that made me nauseous and at one point made me feel a bit lightheaded. The 3D mixed with the actual ride portion was just a bit too much for me. I was surprised because I tolerated Escape from Gringotts so well, but this ride felt like it was set up on a constant circle, basically just spinning you from one 3D screen to the next, and the video was much more intense. Adam loved this ride, however, and if it wasn't for my nausea, I think I would have enjoyed it as well. At this point, we decided that we had pretty much seen the main rides we wanted to at Universal Studios theme park, and we wanted to head over to Islands of Adventure. You can just walk over, or you can take the Hogwarts Express from King's Cross Station, which we did, and it was well worth it in my opinion. But there was about a 20-minute line in order to ride it. Once we made it over to Islands of Adventure, it was just after 12 p.m. and we had only one thing on our minds, and it was Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. The estimated wait time was 2 hours at this point. but we didn't know if it was going to get worse, so we sucked it up and got into line. We decided to do single riders again to help shave off some of the wait time, so we only ended up waiting 90 minutes, which by Universal standards for the most popular ride in the middle of a Saturday isn't too bad. After Hagrid's, we spent some time walking around looking at Hogsmead before riding Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Once again, this ride made me nauseous, but it wasn't quite as bad as Transformers and it wasn't 3D, which helped. This ride ranked pretty middle of the road as far as the rides went for the day. At this point, it was around 2 p.m. and we wanted to leave the park by 4 p.m. at the latest so that we could get home to our dogs. So we decided to skip Flight of the Hippogriff and went straight to the Velocicoaster. The single riders line for the Velocicoaster was closed literally right as we walked up to it, and we were told it wouldn't reopen until the line died down a bit. We decided to just wait near that entrance instead of just getting into the main line, and it ended up working out well for us. We waited just over an hour, even though the estimated wait time was close to 2 hours when we started waiting. We did not get to ride together as this roller coaster is a 2-seater ride, but the guy that Adam rode next to said that he waited at least 2 hours just to ride it. So that was pretty much our whole day at Universal. We definitely took our time looking around between rides and tried not to rush too much. I know there are a bunch more rides that the two parks have to offer, and Universal Studios doesn't close till 6 p.m. and Islands of Adventure doesn't close till 8 p.m. But we really feel like we rode all the rides that we wanted to, and honestly, we were super tired by the time 4 p.m. rolled around. However, that doesn't mean we wouldn't have done a few things differently in hindsight. If you remember me saying that going to Universal Studios before Islands of Adventure was a mistake, here's the reason. The current most popular rides at both theme parks are Hagrid's Motorbike and the new Velocicoaster, and they are both located inside of Islands of Adventure. The lines for these rides were definitely the longest, and because they were both 2-seater rides, going through the singles line didn't allow us to sit together on them. So I definitely would have prioritized going to these rides first before the lines built up. However, I wouldn't change going through the singles lines for all of the rides that offered it. We saved a bunch of time by doing this, and we just felt like it wasn't a big deal to ride separately. Obviously, if you have kids or if it's just not your preference, you might not feel comfortable with this, but it's definitely a huge time saver if you are trying to see both parks in just one day, and most of the rides we ended up sitting together anyway. If you're the type of person that wants to see everything a park has to offer, just buying a pass to one of the parks would still give you plenty to do for a day. If you have to choose between the two, I would say Islands of Adventure offered the best rides in my opinion. If you're trying to focus on the Harry Potter attractions, well, they definitely knew what they were doing by putting half of the attractions in either theme park, so if you can swing it, it's worth the 2 parks one-day ticket. But if you have to choose, I would still recommend Islands of Adventure because of Hagrid's Motorbike ride. It was hands down our favorite ride. However, I will say that Diagon Alley in Universal Studios had much more to offer than Hogsmead in Islands of Adventure did. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. If you haven't already, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We post travel vlogs and helpful videos every week. If you have any tips to add for how to spend the best day in Universal theme parks in Orlando, drop them in the comments section below, and as always, thanks for traveling with us.